Hey everyone, I am Justin, and that is Kyle, and we are the Fantasy Football Upside. Today, we're going to talk about our namesake. We're going to talk about high upside players.
Oh yeah, the whole upside series, right?
Yeah, whole upside series. And the first one, RBs. So last week, we talked about our breakout players and our players to avoid. So go ahead and click the links below in the description.
Or up there.
Oh, or up there in the corner, one of those corners.
This one.
My right, you're over here.
Yeah.
See, we've created this channel because we want to help you win your league this year. And that starts with the draft. You know this if you've been watching us, we talk about the draft. We're spending the rest of the summer preparing you to dominate and win your draft to win your league, Kyle. So if you want to learn how to draft to win and what moves to make during the season, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click that bell if you're watching on YouTube and give us a thumbs up or a comment. Trust me, make a comment, you got a question, it's going to be aired on the next episode. We'll be here to help you every week this year. Right? What do you got, Kyle?
All right. So I just wanted to let everybody know that, hey, look, we're going to ramp up our posting frequency starting now. All right.
Now?
So
Right,
this is a Monday episode, and we're going to go every day of the week, I believe, at least weekdays. And we're looking at possibly doing some really short videos that will be like an outlook series on every player that we want to talk about. And so we'll put all those together. We're going to start shortening the episodes a little bit so that there's a little bit more streamlined for you. Get right into the info, and hopefully that works out a little bit better for you. Additionally, keep your eyes peeled for the Victory Draft Kit. We are going to be dropping that soon. Yeah, that's going to come. We're looking at the end of June, first week of July. That's a hopeful date right now. We'll see how that comes together. It's just the two of us. So we're putting all this stuff together. Everything. Yeah, just the two of us. All right. You're going to be able to use this during your draft, and even if you buy an early edition of it, it's going to be available to you. Are you Adam Gase over there? What are you doing? Swatting in the air. Seeing you swatting in the air. You a bug, or is it you chasing the dragon?
It's a little... I'm Adam
Gase.
I'm Adam Gase at it right now. There's a little gnat flying around. That's my bad. Cut that out.
You figured it out. We figured it out. What was bothering Adam? He had gnats everywhere. Spiders. Yeah. So, okay. All right. Back to that important information about the draft kit. The draft kit is going to be available soon. And then even if you do buy an early edition of it, but you got to draft a couple weeks or so later, you will be provided every edition of the draft that we produce. So you'll have one that's current, that's up to date, that has all your sleepers, all your upside players, all your breakout players, all of your rankings, all the projections that we're doing. Everything's going to be available in there. All kinds of information about the lines and other stuff, what to expect during the season as well. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And let's go ahead and dive in here, Justin. We're talking about those high upside running backs today. We've got two each, right? These are the running backs who are not necessarily being drafted as running back ones or even running back two, right? But they have the upside that they have a chance to break out here, and they could become a consistent performer on your roster and be in your lineup every week. Look, they may not turn into studs for you. That's not who we're saying that we're talking about today. We're not necessarily talking about guys who are going to suddenly become studs. Those are a little bit more obvious. You could figure out who those guys are.
We're not talking about Christian McCaffrey or Saquon Barkley or any of those guys today.
No, we're not talking about the guys who are studs. We're not talking about guys who we think may necessarily become studs. What we're talking about are guys who are going to be solid running backs who are going to complement the studs that are on your team already. Because everybody's going to have premier players on their roster. Like if they aren't, then they've absolutely blown the draft and they might as well pack it up that day, right? But you're going to get those studs on your team because you're paying attention already, right? You're watching us, so you're paying attention. What we're talking about is the guys who are going to complement those studs, who are going to elevate your team to that next level. That's what you've got to get here. All right, so let's dive right in. Justin, Who do you have for your number one?
My number one is actually a running back that is going as a number 2 running back, and his name is Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
Jacksonville Jaguars fantasy football calculator has his RB17, 6th pick in the 3rd round, and I'm trying to figure out why, Kyle.
I have no idea.
The reason why I say this, he finished 10th last year.
I don't know why you're asking me.
You're my audience right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, okay, he's going into his 4th year, which is actually his contract year because the Jags declined that 5th year option on him. He's only going to be 25 all year.
He's a really old 25. He looks older than me.
He's got that Greg Oden look, but he doesn't have that Greg Oden injury.
No, he doesn't.
One thing I could say about Leonard Fournette is just volume, and how about some more volume? He's like one of the last rare workhorses, Kyle.
I don't know, man. I'm expecting so much out of Raquel Armstead this year, right?
I'll get
so
to Raquel.
much, right?
I know. Yeah, he had a great first year. Great first year, as in they didn't put him on the field because Leonard Fournette had 88% of the snaps, 87% of the carries, and he also carried 19% of the targets, which is new for him, which is new for Leonard. He hadn't really caught the ball much beginning of his career. So I just don't think that'll change much. You just mentioned Raquel Armstead. That's the competition. He's going into the 2nd year. They brought in Chris Thompson of the Washington Redskins as a free agent, so he might steal some of that 3rd down work, may steal a couple targets here and there, but he can't stay healthy. He hasn't been able to stay healthy, I think, for years. Mm-hmm. Another thing that we have going for us with Leonard Fournette is a touchdown progression. Yeah. Usually want to stay away from the people that have, an unbelievable touchdown percentage that's going to come back to the mean. This guy's going to go up to the mean, in my opinion. He only had 3 touchdowns on 341 touches. That's hard to do. That's just really bad luck, in my opinion. One of the reasons why I think, Kyle, is he saw the 10th highest percentage of 8 men in the box. He's at 31.7%.
Yeah.
We've mentioned this guy, Jay Gruden. He's the new OC. Yeah, I think he can maybe make this offense a little more efficient, progression from the Tiger King, Gardner Minshew.
But he knows how to operate a running back like Leonard Fournette. I mean, he's done it with Adrian Peterson for a couple of years now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Leonard Fournette is very, very much in the style of Adrian Peterson, except for the passing game. He wasn't getting any of that, but now he runs very similarly.
Yeah, and now that he's shown that he can catch the ball, why would that stop? It's really hard to find a running back with this kind of workload and one that's in line for a huge touchdown progression. It's just really hard, Kyle. And there's a lot of haters out there right now that just don't believe in Leonard Fournette. Listen, you may not like the guy, you may not like some of the other stuff, but I'm talking fantasy football. That's what we talk about here.
Yeah.
And he gets the volume. And that's volume is king in fantasy football.
If he's got a bad reputation, it's because people believe in Tom Coughlin. Tom Coughlin tried to make this
Jaguars.
guy.
People run.
Yeah.
Run away.
Hey man, I've made a living off the Jaguars at times. I said before, I've had Alan Hearns and Allen Robinson and those guys when they were down there, and hey, I spot started Minshew, I think, last year because I had to, but. It's not like, look, you're looking for opportunity. That's really what you're looking for. And Leonard Fournette has nothing but opportunity. He has all of the opportunity.
He does.
Right? So why would you ignore that? It makes no sense to me. Hey, look, I'm looking right now at a few stats here on this, and I'll tell you that, the schedule that he has going this year, when you look backwards at last year's numbers, he's got the 7th easiest running back schedule. So he's at we talk about it. He's at one of the extreme ends, right? So that's that's an opportunity. It's a huge opportunity. So, they don't have necessarily the greatest line, but they're not terrible. So he's going to be fun. He's going to produce.
They're having an upper half line, in my opinion, too. I mean, they got some guys on the line. Cam Robinson's there. They paid Andrew Norwell a ton of money at guard, so he needs to step up. So,
Pro Football Focus is rating them. Football Guys are rating them that offensive line on run blocking as an A minus. So they're still in the elite level of the league when it comes to run blocking.
That's why I think he still performed. Like I said, he still saw a ton of 8 men in the box, but he was still able to perform. And I just think with some weapons on the outside, which I mean, they have some decent guys. We talked about DJ Chark in previous episodes.
They're showing up.
They're showing up finally. And Gardner Minshew, I think he can be a quarterback. He may not be a fantasy really relevant.
I mean, he's no Blake Bortles. Yeah.
Don't you talk stuff about Blake Bortles.
Yeah, don't talk about Bortles, right? All right. So, all right, let's keep it moving here. All right. So I have Todd Gurley as one of my high upside running backs. Todd Gurley. And my apologies to Todd Gurley, but I always think of the joke that I think it was Norm Macdonald would make with Todd. He was Todd Ferguson, and instead he would say Turd Ferguson. So I always think to myself, Turd Gurley, for some reason. I apologize, Todd, because you are not a turd.
You know, this is a recording, right?
It is.
Okay.
I can cut this out if I have to. I'm not going to.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry. I won't do that. All right. So look, right now he's going as fantasy football calculators running back 30. He's picked one of the 7th round. And the last time that we talked, he was right around running back 30 or so, pick 12 of the 7th round. And so he's definitely trending upward at this point.
Yeah.
He might have been running back 32. I might have mistyped that. Right now for us, he's actually our running back 21, but I think both of us are starting to warm to him a little bit.
Yeah.
Look, he's got the 9th best running back schedule this year based on last year's fantasy points allowed on the defenses that he's going to see this year. This offense does not necessarily run a lot. I get it, right? That's going to be an issue.
Guess what Todd Gurley does?
Yeah. They ran I want to say that it was like the 5th fewest run plays in the league last year, but they also had the number 1 in pass plays. And guess who's a catching running back? Amazing. Look how that works out, right? It's, oh my gosh, Todd Gurley catches the ball. It's great. And the reason that they didn't throw to the running backs a lot last year,
who'd they have?
They were terrible. They were horrible. You've got Ito Smith at one point and Devonta Freeman.
Brian Hill was a popular waiver wire at some point.
Wow, there you go.
That didn't work out.
Yeah, well, you know that your team's in trouble if you're adding that guy, other than like, oh, maybe I'll stash him and see what happens, right? All right, so look, he's well suited to participate in the passing game. He provides a dynamic that this offense was missing last year, and that's what they want. That's why they went and they got him. That's why they signed him, and they sat waiting for him to actually have a physical, right? So, look, he's a 3-down running back in an offense that wants their 3rd down running back to catch the ball, right? That's what he is. He's perfectly suited for this. I don't know why people are treating him right now as a mid-level running back 3. Why would you do that? He's essentially a flex. Like,
right. Why? People just look at him like, okay, he's washed up. He's garbage. He had a terrible year last year. He still finished 11th last year. He still finished 11th.
Yeah.
And he's going, what, RB 30?
Yeah, he's going RB 30. Look, I think that at minimum, he's a high-end, consistent running back 2. And that he's going to at least put in running back 1 days for you. He's going to show up as a running back 1 very often. We talk about Christian McCaffrey and catching the ball, and I'm blown away at how many times he catches the ball, right? There is no reason to believe that Todd Gurley won't do the same thing this year. I mean, not maybe to the same extent, but the upside of him catching the ball in an offense that wants to throw the ball and that he can be an effective runner at the same time. He's nothing but upside. Look, if you pay this price for him, you take him in the 7th round right now, you might be making a league-winning pick.
Yeah.
It is entirely possible that guy wins the league for you.
Very much so.
So that's who I've got as my number 1, and I think that there's nothing but upside there. You can't miss on that, in my opinion. You really can't miss on him. So
no. I mean, he does come with a little bit of injury concern, of course, but I mean, they signed him to a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
They're gonna run him. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna get the use out of him. So I don't know. This could be the last hurrah for him, but he can. Like I said, everybody thought he was washed up last year, arthritic knees. Once again, he still finished as the 11th best running back, and I think he was like one of the better ones there towards the end of the season into the fantasy playoffs, because Sean McVay was like, "Oh yeah, I got this guy named Todd Gurley. Oh, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and give him some more work."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That offense last year was just terrible for the Rams, and that line was just god awful. They have a lot of equity on the line for the Falcons. They have a lot of first round equity on that line. So
and he could make them look better too.
Oh,
because I think that the runners that they were using before they lack field vision. I think that's
it's just a one cut and go. Like I'm just going to run right into the middle of people. I mean, Devontae Freeman.
Yeah, and then the Rams last year, their offense just the wheels fell off.
Yeah,
it really did. There was something about that offense that broke down, and they had to go to 12 package the whole rest of the season, and that's why Higbee blew up big, and it, so I think that offense struggled, and I think it reflected in his game as a result. So,
absolutely.
All right. Who do you have for me here at your number 2 high upside running back?
My number 2 high upside running back is Darius Geis of the Redskins.
Oh man, I didn't know you picked him.
The reason, so Fantasy Football Calculator actually has him as RB26, 12th pick in the 5th round. I don't think that's where he was actually going to go. He's going to fall down some draft boards just from the injury risk that he's had. I mean,
this is his 3rd year in the league, and I don't think he's played more than how many games has he played in? 5. That was going to be my guess, 5 or 6.
A 5er. He's only 23.
You sure it wasn't? Right. He's sure it wasn't 7.
7 miles an hour.
I wish.
Yeah.
I wish. Well,
don't worry. I got the drop in.
We still got it in. I mean, okay. Only 3rd season. Yeah. All of rookie year he was out. Torn ACL, I think, in training camp. 5 games last year. Then he sprained his MCL. He didn't tear anything. He sprained it. He was healthy in college. I mean, that's one of those things where it's not like this guy was always banged up in college and didn't perform in college and then got to the NFL and did the same thing. It's not something that he's really came with injury concerns before. But when this guy is on the field, he is explosive.
Yeah.
So last year he had 324 yards on just 49 touches. 5.8 yards per carry and a total of 7.9 yards per touch with 3 touchdowns.
I don't know, man. Ron Rivera has never had any skill at developing a running back at all.
Insert sarcasm logo thingy.
Just in case you're not watching, I'm very obviously being sarcastic. My eyes are
referring to, I believe, a guy named Christian McCaffrey.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Who?
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, okay. Backfield competition was my next topic. It's a packed running back room, but I don't think there's going to be this many guys. You just can't carry this many running backs going into the season. You have Adrian Peterson, little on the old side, little long in the tooth.
He's what, like 38 now? 40?
No, he's probably 34, 35, but he's 60 in NFL years, especially for running backs.
They draft a really cheap contract, I think. That's all it really boils down to.
No, he's probably still making $3 to $4 million a year,
and he doesn't fall apart. They can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Him.
Yeah, they drafted a guy out of Memphis, Antonio Gibson. He was actually a wide receiver and running back in college, a little bit of both.
Okay.
So he may not really be a true running back, kind of one of those gadget players. Even though you don't see a gadget player being 5'10", 226 pounds, which is what Gibson is. Yeah, I'm curious to see what he does. They have Peyton Barber, from Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Everybody has Peyton Barber.
It's somewhat limited athletically. That's when I say somewhat, insert sarcasm.
No.
JD McKissick. I think this is his 4th team in 5 years. He just catches the ball. I don't think he actually runs the ball. And former Stanford star. This one kind of stinks. Bryce Love. So do you remember Bryce Love? He was a Heisman candidate, and then he came back I believe, for his junior or senior year, tore his ACL, and he's never really recovered. I think they drafted him like the 6th round a couple of years ago. He's just never really recovered, so he might be on one of those cutting blocks. I don't see J.D. McKissick making the team either, and Peyton Barber. I don't know why you would keep all those guys. So this could be one of those risky investments, but
not in the 7th round.
Exactly. It's huge upside. It's just,
yeah,
like you said, it depends on where you draft him.
Yeah.
We talked about this. You're not really drafting this guy to be your stud. You're drafting him to complement your other running backs that are studs. And you're hoping for that upside. And that's what you're looking at. You're looking at guys that can take off, that don't have the competition behind them, or they have all the skills. This guy has.
I mean, let's talk about if he stays healthy, right?
Yeah.
So let's say he finally puts in a healthy season for the first time in his career.
Yeah. In his pro career, yes.
Yeah, in his pro career. And he's explosive as ever. Then you're looking at a guy who's potentially back end RB1.
Yeah.
High end RB2, somewhere in that neighborhood. I mean, you're taking a flyer on that, but what are you looking at? The 7th round, in the middle of the 7th round, you're looking at your wide receiver 4. You're looking at an RB3, RB4 in that range.
Yeah.
What's the pain there? There's not much pain. So
exactly. You're looking, you see he passes the eye test too. Whenever you're watching a game and he's playing, he passes the eye test. Like I said, he is explosive.
Yeah.
The ball in his hands. And I'm going to draft him as much as I can, as long as it makes sense. Like you said, as long as the value is there.
I'm not going to overpay for that. Yeah.
I'm not going to draft him thinking he's going to be my RB2. That just doesn't make sense. That's why this is an upside pick. Compared to Leonard Fournette, you draft him as your RB2 and you're happy as a clam. Yeah. This guy, you can draft him as RB3, RB4, and you might be able to put him in your flex or put him in your lineup if you need to, because he's taken off. So, anything else on Mr. Darius, guys?
No, I think that I think that he's got some great upside. It's a good chance there. All right, so we're going a little bit different direction here. I'm stealing your homer pick, right? Jonathan Taylor is who I've got as my high upside running back. Yeah, on purpose, right? No, so right now he's going as running back 32, 6th pick of the 7th round on Fantasy Football Calculator. Last time we talked, he was running back 37, going 11th pick of the 8th round. So he's moving in the trending upward direction, right? So people are starting to get a little wise there. Currently, he's our RB24. We might shade him a little bit better than that eventually. Like he might move.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm saying probably somewhere in the back half of RB2 territory. It would probably be the safest bet for him.
Yeah.
Look, last year the Colts ran the 5th most run plays in the league. You add in Phillip Rivers, and sure, that number's going to drop a little bit probably, right? Because he can actually throw the ball consistently and consistently well.
And we'll take chances.
Yeah.
We didn't have someone that would take chances last year.
Yeah. Yeah. But what you have to remember about Phillip Rivers is that he is the check down king, right? So over the last 3 years, he's gone from like 26% of all pass plays are checked down to the running back to 28% 2 years ago to 30% last year. 30% of all plays that were called passes, he went through his progressions and said, nope, going over here. I'm going to throw it to my running back. So
hey, Austin Eckler, come on down. Hey, Melvin Gordon, come on down.
A big guy who can run on 1st and 2nd down and catch on 3rd down.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking at, right?
Yeah.
Now, the reason that we have him not any higher, and we don't expect him necessarily to fight for RB1 value this year,
right,
is because of Marlon Mack.
Yeah.
Absolutely, right? Marlon Mack is going to compete with Taylor for carries to start the season. That might not continue through the whole year, but it might also continue through the whole year.
Right.
Even if it does continue the whole time, I think that you're probably safe to bet that grabbing Jonathan Taylor in the 8th round or 7th round, that you've made a pretty good investment in the end.
Right.
Because, look, This is the best line in the league at run blocking, period. There's just no question about that in my opinion. The running back schedule that he's facing this year, if you take all their fantasy points that these defenses allowed last year, is the easiest schedule in the league.
Gotta love to hear that as a Colts fan.
Oh yeah. This is a team that knows how to run the ball, has the capability to run the ball, and wants to run the ball.
Coach Reich wants to run the ball.
So look, they handed the ball off the 5th most times last year. Phillip Rivers, he's old man Rivers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's not going to keep throwing it down the field.
And
we do like T.Y. Hilton and Paris Campbell to some extent, but that's because he throws a really good deep ball.
Yeah.
But he checks down every third pass play. And guess who can't catch the ball? Marlon Mack. Not like Jonathan Taylor. So Jonathan Taylor is going to get a lot of work early as a result of being a solid third down back when he learns how to block the way they want him to block in the backfield.
Yep.
That's it. That's what he's got to do. He figures that out, and then he's on the field all the time. That's what's going to happen. All right. So look, the price here is great. And you're not going to get a full season of carries out of Taylor. But you will get a guy who turns in top tier days when he starts to crowd Marlon Mack out.
Yeah.
Right. So where the upside exists for him is that you have to be able to draft him and keep him on your bench. He's going to provide value for you early, but that's not necessarily going to be value that's greater than a flex spot until probably 5-6 weeks into the season, when he starts to really actually take hold of the job a little bit more, and maybe the roles switch between Mack and Jonathan Taylor. All right. And look, he's not going to win you games early in the year, but if you can make it there, he's going to win you games in the playoffs. And that's what we're here trying to actually accomplish. So if you can build your roster in a way that you can have him ready for you and you can have him there, he's going to help you in those playoffs. All right?
We've talked about this before. I kind of look at him as the Miles Sanders last year.
Yeah.
He didn't have as talented running back ahead of him, Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard. Marlon Mack is a little bit more talented, I would say, in Jordan Howard. I think we can agree to that.
Well, especially at this point in their careers.
Exactly. But once again, we do kind of see this as one of those, okay, they're going to be splitting a lot of carries right at the beginning of the season. Yeah. But Jonathan Taylor is too dang talented to keep him on the sideline. They traded up to get Jonathan Taylor. They were worried the Jaguars were going to trade up to pick him because they were going to let Leonard Fournette go. They traded one spot ahead of the Jaguars. That should tell you what the Colts think of Jonathan Taylor. And I just see, like, the guy's a stud.
Yeah.
The last time someone ran a 4.39 40, 225 pounds as a running back, his name was Saquon Barkley. It's the last time anybody's done that in the last decade.
Yeah, I mean, that guy, what's he done?
Exactly.
He only leads the league in like 85-yard touchdowns, right?
Exactly.
I mean, look, here's a little nugget for you. If there's a knock on Saquon Barkley, it's that he relies too heavily on 85-yard touchdowns.
He gives them to
you. But that's also a plus because Saquon Barkley has at least one of those a game. Yeah.
There are some other running backs. You said Marlon Mack is there. Nyheim Hines.
But he's going to lose out to Taylor right off the bat because he's going to be in the slot. Is what he's going to be.
He's going to be in the slot. He actually played a lot of time in the slot. Paris Campbell should be back as well in the slot. He should do great there. He's going to return punts finally again. Like, they finally put him out a punt return and let's just score 2 punt return touchdowns in a matter of a couple weeks. So there are a little bit of competition there, but once again, it's you're gonna have to keep him on your bench for the first few weeks, and then once he starts to take hold of this job, I just don't think they're gonna let him sit on the sideline.
Yeah. Look, if he's the third running back on your roster, you're grabbing him in the 7th round, he's very likely at least the third running back, maybe your 4th running back. If you're building your roster correctly, he's one of those two.
And to have
if you can get him at either
kind of talent,
if you can get him at either your running back 3 or running back 4, you're not necessarily relying on him to be a flex even early in the season.
Right.
But he could provide flex value. You're not going to probably put him in week 1 unless you're absolutely certain he's getting the lion's share of things or something off the bat. But
yeah, that's
he's
the thing.
He's going to have it by the end of the season.
If something happens to Marlon Mack, I mean, he's in probably RB1 territory.
Oh yeah, I mean, we always talk about there's always a rookie who finishes in RB1 every year for like a decade now.
He would be anything to happen to Marlon.
I mean, the donut. I think the donut's going to do it this year. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, right? The
Eclair.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be. I'm just bashing everybody tonight, right? I'm giving them all terrible nicknames, I guess. So,
what else is bad? Kyle being Kyle.
Yeah. There we go. Yep. All right.
It's tough, man.
That's it, actually. You got anything else? I mean, I know that he's your hometown guy. You want to talk about him anymore?
I cannot wait to see him.
Do you have anything to say about? Do you have anything to say about George Kittle or anything like that?
We don't have time. We don't have time.
This is beautiful.
What is that, velvet?
Yeah.
What is that, velvet?
All right, so
take us home, Kyle.
Here we go. All right, you found us on YouTube. We're the Fantasy Football Upside. You can get us at Twitter at FFB_Upside, Facebook at FFB Upside, no underscore. You can also search the Fantasy Football Upside. You can also reach us via email at thefantasyfootballupside@gmail.com. And we're also on Apple Podcast and
Stitcher, Spotify.
Working
on some other ones.
Yeah. Once again, don't forget to subscribe. Click that bell so you get notified when we upload the best fantasy football information on the internet. And thanks again for being an Upside fan. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.